Acholi, Anapui attack. Kamoga can mighty yeah. Amot greetings this morning, and thank you very much for sparing your time for this live stream. Wherever you are, just know that in this video we are going to look at some key important things that we need to get to know as per the Kwaro Acholi election is concerned. Is we should dig out how did the position of the Paramount chief Rwot came into existence, and that is how we will understand if the election of today was necessary or not. Because there are many people who are talking that Acholi, you don't have to what? You don't have to answer. You don't have to go through election for you to become a Paramount chief. So we are going to look at this, and you get to know that what is really the Paramount chief. Can the Paramount chief be changed through voting? So we're going to look at the history of two great Paramount chiefs. In between, there are some other Paramount chiefs which were not very great. Then we come up to Acana. We will start with Chief which is very famous. Then other chiefs also among it. So I will be reading it. It's a normal environment, so not a news. This is not a news article, but digging the history. So I've done my research and compiled this, and these are facts from various sources. So these are the findings. So I have to say, let's start with Awich. Rwot Awich, his full name is Ibrahim Awich Abok, the first Lutanyamoy. He calls himself Were Chan, meaning the mother was named Achan. Then from 1860 to the 22nd of July 1946, Rwot Awich reigned as Rwot of Payera king. So he was coming from Payera, just like Acana is coming from Payera. Now when we look at Rwot Awich, let's look at his heroic deeds, why he's seen as a hero worldwide. In 1886, his decisive victory in the war between Pade, Arab, and Nubian forces versus Pajule and Payera combined forces sent a strong message to the Arabs. The armies of Pade and their Arab Nubian allies suffered a humiliating defeat, and as a result, when the Arabs were petitioned by Rwot of Padibe the following year in 1887 to join Padibe and wage war against Payera, the Arabs were eager to avenge that defeat. The combined Padibe, Labon, Arab, and Nubian force waylaid Rwot, Labo, Rwot Chamo, Wood Aweno, and his Payera convoy. The Arab force was led by Awash Effendi, based at Lado, while the assistant commander was Salim Effendi, S.O. Mohammed Effendi. The Padibe force and their Arab allies sprang a surprise attack on Rwot Chamo's convoy and achieved easy victory, as Payera men were caught completely unaware. So the Payar men were caught completely unaware. Rwot Chamo's men were caught completely unaware. Rwot Chamo's men's convoy was scattered and the people fled in disarray, leaving their king undefeated. A Padive man named Chakai Lukiromoy is said to have been the one who spearheaded Rwot Chamo to death, for which he earned the chivalry Moi title, because any true actually knows the meaning of Moi comes from, especially is named after you like doing something frequently. Like if you're brave at killing, Moi will come to you, like those of Windolo are having Chigamoy, so Menyamoy and the rest. So he earned the name Moi by killing this chief. So the Arabs then went on and did what only the Arabs can do best. They beheaded Rwot Chamo and took the severed aid with them. According to another Nubian, Mojon Effendi, based in Gulu at the time, they served. At the time, they severed aid and taken to Lado via Dupile by none other than Awash Effendi, the Arab military commander. It was from Lado that Emin Pasha, O Eduardo, Shat, the last governor, ruled Equatoria from 1878 to 1886, the year Egypt gave up responsibility over Equatoria, because Egypt was taking charge of the Equatoria. In 1901 to 1902, Rwot was arrested by Captain Haman and tried by the British troubleshooter, Dame Redcliffe, aka Langala Ngala, so nicknamed in Juba Pigeon, Arabic because he was restless. He was all over the region, troubleshooting, following the ruling in that court. Rwot detained sympathetic to the Omukama Kabalega of Banyoro. He stubbornly and rightfully refused to repatriate the refugees, Nubians, the refugees Nubians. That is one of the things they accuse of, which refusing to repatriate the Nubians, refusing, being sympathetic to Omukama Kabalega. You see how Arabs were fueling tensions also in Uganda. We were looking at only the missionaries and the colonialists, but the Arabs were also there. Can you imagine? Meaning that Arabs were also another form of colonialists that history does not want to mention very openly. So Banyoro and also the Omukama's children who had fled from the combined British Buganda army, which defeated Omukama Kabalega's army in 1893. His objection was based on a deeply rooted Acholi traditional moral belief about the sanctity of human life. So which was believing on the Acholi traditional belief about the sanctity of human life. He never wanted to destroy other humans. That was enshrined into the traditional constitution of Acholi people. You are not supposed to humiliate another human being. So the Arabs were sad about that one because they wanted revenge on Omukama Kabalaga. Let's continue with this history that it has been hard to hand. If you search on Google, you will not get. I paid money for me to access this from Google Scholars on Amazon. The Amazon Scholars, you have to pay money for you to access this. So these are not my writings. I am not a historian, but as a content creator, I'm bringing this live for you to relate with the current situation of Acholi people, of the voting. So the traditional religious Acholi beliefs hold that if you were to send back the refugees to face possible death, then the souls of the deceased would come back to haunt him. So actually, their traditional religious belief. Now, these days, people don't consider it, but let's put that one aside. So the belief was that if a witch was to send back those people to die or to be killed, the spirits were going to haunt him, which is up to date. Many of us, including me, still believe that if you kill somebody or participate in killing, the spirits will come back to haunt you, to disturb you. So if they were killed, perhaps, needless to say, that time has vindicated Rwot witch for upholding this very important principle of Acholi's criminal justice system. Mawa Chane, even Wendolo, the Chief Justice of Uganda, is advocating for Acholi traditional justice system to be spread even across Africa, to be inducted in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda so that it helps people a lot. He held steadfast Acholi's high moral ground. Quite simply, he was ahead of his time as it took Europe, the USA, and other major nations of the world 2 world wars and over 50 million deaths to come up in Paris with the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, UNDHR, which was adopted by the UN General Assembly on December the 10th, 1948. I remember Chief Justice said this one in a meeting in State House. Yes, I have to say I was there. He said this one, that actually we are ahead of time before the whites. We knew that killing another person as a punishment for killing your relative was nonsense. So until recent is when these people who you call civilized had to come up with the idea of no death sentence. But Acholi was ahead of time. And this is even what the history is telling us. We were ahead of time, you see. And some people, they are not even proud about being the Acholi people. I boldly that shame upon them. Shame, 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 shame. Those who are not patriotic of being Acholi people. Let me get, and we continue from where we have stopped. Now, when you look at another thing, within the 4 rights enshrined in the Charter is the right of asylum. That is, anyone having well-founded fear of persecution in his or her country of origin became entitled to seek refuge in a neighboring country, and the host nation, since then, is under a legal obligation not to repatriate such a person to face near certain death or persecution. In 1912 to 1919, Rwot witch was again rearrested based on a trumped-up charge that he was in possession of illegal gun, known in Acholi as Luduro Tachi, that is to say, 303 rifle, which had gone missing. Rwot witch on sub-chief Jago Aluja of Patira testified against him in an all-ill-constituted court presided over by the resident DC, Mr. Benz, a.k.a. Benge, in January 1912. This makeshift court sentenced Rwot witch to another period of detention lasting 8 years. He was again detained in Kololo or Kampala, in quote, Kololo Hill. Now, a VIP residential area in Kampala was named by him. It is derived from a Acholi word, Kololo. Now, when you look at Kololo, it's a VIP residential area, as it is said, derived from a Acholi word, meaning single, or lonely, or alone, because of which, after arrest, he cried, Adon kana Kololo, meaning, I have been left alone. So a witch was alone. Can you feel that? Can you wear that shoes? You know, then you feel that he was already in pain. Immediately following his release in December 1919, following his initial detention, he went out of his way to meet the British missionary Albert Lloyd in Onyema and requested him to open up similar schools as he saw in Buganda and Banyoro in Acholi land. Indeed, in June 1904, Albert Lloyd traveled to Acholi land where he established the first Anglican mission at Keyo Lamogi Division in 1904. In short, what makes Rwot stand out head and shoulder above other Rudi in Acholi is that he resisted all foreign invaders, both violent invaders, Arabs, and the more peaceful but subtle and qualified invaders. That is to say, the Europeans. Moreover, most of the wars Payera fought were either retaliatory or were for just causes like defense. That is to say, Kosa, Bele, or Lapi. Now, Chief Justice also talked about Lapi in a gathering in State House. I was also there. Lapi is when you are innocent. You are accused innocently. You are being attacked in war innocently. So when you fight, when Lapi is on your side, you will win the war, because Lapi is the spirits of our ancestors in favor of you. You have a reason, a true reason to fight, a true reason to kill somebody in defense, most likely. That is what is called Lapi. Out of about 10 of Payera's interclan wars, only about 3 can be classified as wars of aggression. Father J.P. Krazolara, in his 3rd volume, Luo Clans, page 500, he writes, Ogwok, who committed suicide in 1924, entangled Padibe in many wars, and with the head of the slave traders, whom he called for his assistance, was responsible for much suffering over a large area of Acholi land. Similarly, Rodla Kiri of Paimol, who fought more than 10 interclan wars, most of them were wars of aggression against neighboring fellow Acholi clans. For instance, Rodla Kiri did wage a war against Lerapaluo to assert his claim over Kono Wudu, that is to say, ostrich feathers. In his last and most memorable war in October 1918, Rodla Kiri and his commander, Mr. Ugal Luwamoy, went all the way to Ethiopia to recruit Ethiopian Mono Luchamchua, that's what they were calling Ethiopian mercenaries, returning via Tukan region in Kenya to wage war on Rwot, a mat of Lerapaluo. Now I think you know why Acholi is most feared in Uganda, and also most respected, but most importantly, most hated. 3 things: most feared, most respected, and most hated in Uganda. That is the fact. We who studied in schools which are not in Acholi land, we saw the hate, but we also saw the fear, and we also saw the respect. But above all, what is conquering right now is the hatred. Acholi is highly being hated currently. So, during the raid, the 2 Acholi Katakis, Jide Rwa of Labon and the Urukelo of Payera, were martyred. So you see, the Acholi chiefs in charge of murdering Jide Rwa have come out also. I believe many of you did not know about this, and I believe some of you are now enjoying this history. You are getting to know our roots. And the Urukelo of Payera were martyred. The 2 Catholic martyrs were recently, in 2002, befitted by Pope John Paul the 11th. It is the first step towards their recognition as Christian saints. The next step is their canonization, after which they joined the list of many recognized martyrs of the Catholic Church worldwide. So, before we go to the next phase, that is what you need to know about this Acholi history. It is a very important thing in Acholi. It is very crucial. As you may know, it has a lot of impact in the lives of actually of this presentation of this live stream. I am also still getting some little bit time to rest. I'm also rest a bit because you have to. I'm still searching for other pages. As I told you, I paid for you to get to know this. You don't get thing on Google. You cannot get it. And I was also restricted. I should use it. I was not allowed to just publish it and anyhowly, but I was allowed to only use it in a video. The people who gave me permission only allowed me to use it in a video, not in any other form. So I'm sticking to the agreement so that I don't get copyright claim or whatever. So now we are going to a phase that will take us to where Rwot picked from. And you will judge by yourself if the election currently slated for today is supposed to be conducted or not. You will find out by yourself if it is right for this election to go on. So let's go to the next phase without waste of time. I have never ever taken a very long live stream like this, but today it is long. It is very, very long. It is long that if you want to know the truth, it is only those who want to know the truth who will stick to watching this live stream. But it will not be very, very exorbitant. I think maybe I will take another 20 minutes or 30 minutes for it to end from the time I'm talking now. So we are going to another great chief, and that is now where you will start getting to know how the position of the paramount chief came into existence. For what which he was appointed by the colonialists. He realized the colonial deeds were wrong, as I was reading. Like they wanted to bring those who ran away from the Baganda, the Kabalegam war, who went to seek asylum, to come back and be killed. The Arabs wanted, he refused. The colonialists wanted, he refused. Because it is a human right to run. If I'm in war with you and you run away, it's your right now to stay. So let's look at Rwot Pilipo Adon MBE, Rwot of Pajule, former Wirwuri, of 1953 to 1959. Now we are getting near independence. We're getting closer to the independence now. And we will look at when Obora came in, abolished, and so on and so on. And Laloy Mabe from 1963 to 1966. So after the British, the position of Lawirwuri first disappeared and became Laloy Mabe. So some of you are saying that the position of Lawirwuri or permanent chief, paramount chief, is a permanent thing, is by birth, by what? Now you can see, this is just the headline, the preamble. Now, let's get deep into this. So, it starts, hello readers. To add is to record Rwot Pilipo Adon of Pajule as a most respected and loved Lawirwodi. Lawirwodi literally means the paramount chief in a Acholi tribe of Uganda and in South Sudan. He was elected Lawirwodi in 1953 and served for 6 years until when the position was abolished in 1959. So the position of Lawirwodi was first abolished in 1959 and replaced with a new post called Secretary General of Acholi District Council. Those who don't have personal ego, personal interest in the election today will be laughing alongside me right now because we are getting closer to what they call the matter. Wilson Lutara, an agricultural officer from Palabek who was then working in Gulu, the inaugural SG, formerly appointed by Acholi district councillors and Rwot to become Secretary General, a position he held until 1962 when Uganda attained the independence. So Wilson Lutara, an agricultural officer. I wish I could also be an agricultural officer because I did Bachelor of Science in Agriculture. But the segregation of today and bribery is not allowing this. So Wilson Lutara, an agricultural officer from Palabek, who was based in Gulu, served in that position as the Secretary General of Acholi District Councils. That was the person in charge, the position which replaced the Lawirwuri in 1959, as a reminder to you. The SG position was then abolished. You see, that position again was abolished to be replaced by a new position called Laloymabe. So from Lawirwuri to SG, that is Secretary General, now to the Laloymabe. I see you're seeing our transition of this same position being called different titles. So the Laloymabe literally means a good leader. Elections for the Laloymabe position were held in 1963 amid its fierce UPC versus DP rivalry, but it was Rwot Pilipo Adon of Pajule who carried the day and was elected Laloymabe. You see this? In 1963, Rwot Pilipo Adon became the Laloymabe, a position now being called Paramount Chief. It was Paramount Chief, it came to Secretary General, now we are at Laloymabe. The question is, will we go back to the Paramount Chief? Take your mind to the history. We are moving forward. Let's see if we will go back to the Paramount Chief and find out if it is necessary for the election to happen. Now you see, two of the leaders or the heads of Acholi were just elected. Only one which was appointed, according to this, was appointed by the British. But you have to be a Rwot of a certain chair for you to be to qualify to present yourself for the contest. So its installation would be purposely delayed by UPC until 1965. So UPC delayed the installation of Laloymabe, that is Pilipo. Nevertheless, Rwot Pilipo Adon's reign as the Laloymabe was short-lived. For in May 1966, Prime Minister Apollo Milton Obote fell out with Kabaka Mutesa of Uganda and sent in the military led by Idi Amin to attack Kabaka's palace at Lubiri. Obote then went to aid and abolish kingdoms and chiefdom or any form of traditional rulerships in Uganda altogether. And in 1967, he formally introduced the Republican pigeon-hole constitutions. So, Rwot Pilipo Adon, who is a Laloymabe, lost his position in 1966 after Obote abolished this thing called traditional leadership. It is only the Baganda who always like crying, Obote is bad. That was just an oversight by Obote. All other people also suffered that unruly act. All those people suffered unruly that thing. But why are you the only one crying? I think that is more of a tribalism thing. All people around the world have bad history of wars and a lot of things. That we need to live according to it today so that we can live in harmony. We need to accept the truth so that we can live peacefully in Uganda and the rest of the world and Africa. If we don't talk about history, we will never be peaceful because people will be lying. People will be lying to their children. Like Lucky Dube said, your mother didn't tell you the truth because my father didn't tell me the truth. That is why we're in tension, because your father tells you, such and such did this, this person did this, and you now grow up with it, I hate these people. No. That's not how it's supposed to be. Now, as we run down now, to summarize this, let's get to the position of the Acholi Paramount chief. How it came now, back again into existence. The position of the Acholi Paramount chief, this is now summary, emerged as a result of colonial administrative strategies employed by the British in northern Uganda during the early 20th century. You see, it is not a traditional position. Emerged after British activities in northern Uganda in early 20th century. Here is a brief outline of how this role came into existence. Number 1, colonial indirect rule. The British colonial administration implemented a policy of indirect rule which relied on existing local power structures governed more efficiently. In regions where centralized authorities like kings or chiefs did not exist, the British created such roles. You see, they had to look for a way of accessing the greater community. Then number 2, creation of the paramount chief role. In the Acholi region, the traditional leadership structure consisted of clan aides, or the Rwot, with no single overarching authority to facilitate their rule. The British appointed a single leader over the entire Acholi people, thus creating the position of the paramount chief. This was part of their strategy to streamline governance and control through a central figure, a powerful Acholi which was the greatest of all time in Africa by then. Oh, so Acholi was the greatest in Africa by that time. And they wanted to lead Acholi. So they introduced the position of paramount chief. So nothing like saying it is a traditional position or kind of spiritual position. So a paramount chief is just a chairman. Before I conclude, let me continue with my summary. Number 3, selection of the paramount chief. The British selected Rwot, the team of Payera clan, as the first paramount chief around 1912. This appointment was influenced by the need to have a cooperative and influential local leader who could help implement colonial policies and maintain order. This was before Rwot. Number 4, function and influence. The paramount chief's role was to mediate between the British authorities and the Acholi people, oversee tax collection, maintain law and order, and mobilize labor and resources for colonial projects. This position gave the appointment chief significant influence and authority over the Acholi people or the Acholi sub-region. Thus, the position of the Acholi paramount chief was a product of the British colonial administrative needs and their policy of indirect rule, which sought to manage local population through a central figure who could enforce their direction. Yes. British had a lot of strategies, among which was indirect rule and direct rule. Indirect, they use leaders to control you. Direct, they implement their policies direct to the local community. Now you know how the position of the paramount chief came into existence. Now we will look at Rwot. Who is Rwot? Some people think they know Rwot so much, but I believe you don't know. A website known as C-R.organization, an organization called Cancellation Resources, which was working in northern Uganda, published this article about Rwot. The article is titled Rwot David Acana II. They go to say about Rwot David Acana II. Is a very brief article, but it is very important in this presentation of ours. Rwot David Acana II was invested in the newly created position of Acholi paramount chief in January 2005 in Gulu. So that was amidst or towards the end of the war, the LRA war. 2005. That is when he was invested in Gulu. In this position, he aids K. Kwaro Acholi. a focal point of conflict resolution at the family, clan, inter-clan, inter-ethnic levels, and responsible for traditional conflict management mechanisms. Mr. Acana, with other civil society leaders, has condemned the military approach in northern Uganda and urged donors to continue their support for a negotiated solution. That is a very good thing that Acana did. Rodrigo Acana II is a contributor to our Accord publication series and not a staff member of Cancellation Resources. The views expressed in the publication are their own and do not reflect the position of Cancellation Resources. We cannot share contributors' contact details. So, this is what you need to know about. I've spoken a lot about Paramount Chief. In conclusion, independently not siding with Rwot, independently not siding with Rwot. This is the conclusion, which you already know from the history, just like final conclusion, summary. The Paramount Chief is not a permanent position. I think I don't hate Rwot, but I have to say this. I think Rwot was trying to make it look permanent. It was influenced by Arabs, it was introduced by the British, it was influenced by Obore, it was influenced by NGOs. Now it's a high time Acholi makes their own decision on that position through their own constitution via their respective roadie. So the position of Paramount Chief can be elected. Can be. And now when the Acholi are the ones who elect, like what will happen today, we will have more voice. And if Rwot goes through, if he presents himself for election, we will get ready to continue working with him. But now with Constitution, that's what Bosmik said. But now with Constitution, that's what KDP Christopher said. But now with Constitution, that's what many of the Acholi chiefs are saying. And if Rwot Santo goes through, or any other chief, yes, we have to continue. I have to say this, actually, let's love each other. Whether you come from Payera or not, let's adhere to fact. Fact is very important. Thank you very much. One love to all the Acholi as we continue to bring you update about what will happen in Kitgum. As you also listen to what is happening, let's be peaceful. God bless Acholi. God bless all of you who have watched this video. Thank you very much. Let me go and have my breakfast, and I will continue with several other